Hi, and welcome to the Spirit, the Beyond Files.
Ready to question reality? You're in the right place.
Let's dive in.
Would you look what's happening right now? Yes, another fire. I think it's March 8th. Now this fire, you can see the radar I put up here, is in Long Island, New York. And it just started. And they're saying it's massive already and blocking off roads. Y'all, what are we living in exactly? Like, I have questions. We just had the fire in Myrtle Beach, and that's not to mention all of the other places. I don't know. It just seems like we have a lot of fire in our future. I put this video together a bunch of different angles of it so y'all can see it. This is insane, y'all. It's not summer. It's not even spring yet. It might be spring, I'm not sure. What? It's not even hot outside yet. What is gonna happen this summer?
I find it odd that these fires are happening where smart cities are scheduled to happen.
I wonder if people are having prophetic dreams about these fires. I personally haven't, but what are you guys experiencing?
Did you know that in recent years, the University of Hawaii had to release a memo warning people about the night marchers? Genuinely. I don't know what it is about the night marchers of Hawaii, but they absolutely terrify me. They really genuinely scare me, so let's get into it. The night marchers were once human. They were elite warriors and they had a really specific job role. So their job was to be the bodyguards of really sacred chiefs. And I mean, these chiefs were so sacred that nobody could look at them. You could not set eyes on these chiefs. And if those chiefs were out in sunlight and their shadow was cast upon you, you would have to be killed. There were also other rules, like you had to be naked in the presence of these chiefs. So in order to stop people meeting their unwitting naked demise, being in the wrong place at the wrong time and coming face to face with one of these sacred chiefs, they generally moved at night time. Hence, their elite warriors became known as the night marchers. But here's the thing. Even in death, these night marchers have continued. And generally, the night marchers appear in the last 4 moon phases of the Hawaiian lunar calendar as the moon is going dark. And they will march in a chiefly procession from the mountain to the sea, stopping at sacred sites along the way. Generally, people will see the night marchers at a distance. So they will be able to see like the pinpricks of their torches coming down the mountainside. And you know it's the night marchers because they seem to be able to cover vast expanses of land in a really short space of time. They are able to cross rivers, streams, boulders, mountains in the blink of an eye. And if you don't see them, you might just hear them. So people have reported hearing the roar of conch shells. They hear drums beating. They hear the sounds of footsteps marching. And if you come face to face with the night marchers, your life is at risk. You cannot look at them. So if for whatever reason you moronically follow the sound, or you find yourself in a situation where you've unwittingly come face to face with them, you need to strip naked, lie on the ground, clasp your hands behind your head, and whatever happens, whatever you hear, whatever you think you hear, you do not look. And obviously things have changed in Hawaii. There have been towns and villages and cities that have been built, but for the night marchers, it doesn't matter. Their pathways are sacred, and it doesn't matter what is in their way, they will destroy it if it means that they can continue on their sacred path. And here's where it gets really interesting, because in recent years, the University of Hawaii had to put out a memo to stop cars being parked in a certain area of a car park on a certain moon phase. So long story short, when they were building the car park, they didn't take the night marchers' pathway, their route, their sacred route, into consideration. So they built their car park, and guess what? There was loads of what seemed to be needless vandalism. So people would return to their cars, and their cars would be literally turned over, smashed to bits, all the windows smashed in. And like I said, initially they thought it was needless vandalism, but then they noticed a pattern, because this would only happen at certain moon phases, and it would only happen in one particular area of the car park. And you guessed it, turns out that that area of the car park was right on a sacred pathway of the Night Marchers. And there are countless similar stories from the island. So, for example, on one of the islands in the 90s, a new Kmart was built. They had an opening day. It was very exciting. It all went very well. And the next day, the workers went back to the Kmart and the whole place was ransacked, wrecked, destroyed. Everything had been smashed up, but it was all swept to the right-hand side, as if some invisible force had marched through the new Kmart. I have loads more stories about the Night Marchers, but it is an aspect of Hawaiian folklore that really does give me the heebie-jeebies. And I think that if I was in Hawaii, even though I am very skeptical and I love folklore, I love ghost stories, but I keep a skeptical brain, let me tell you, if I'm in Hawaii, I'm paying attention to this folklore. I'm not going looking for things that I shouldn't be looking for. I'm not going to be that person who's like, I'm going to get evidence. No. I'm staying away from this. If you want to hear more stories about the Night Marchers and also the Menehune, which is another part of Hawaiian folklore, which I will get into in another video, you can listen to episode number 152 of my podcast, Real Life Ghost Stories. It's called The Night Marchers and the Menehune, and it was released on April the 17th, 2022.
I believe in the Night Marchers.
Wouldn't that be a prank on somebody though if you
Oh, that's true.
If
To
you-
dress up like a night
like
marcher.
the night marchers and they strip
Get naked,
yeah.
lay on the ground, and do not look.
You know a photo is seriously creepy when a podcast tells you, hey, stop listening to the podcast and go take a look at this photo. This is exactly what happened when I was listening to Radio Rental. This woman was telling about this photo that she captured that was really strange. And in the middle of the podcast, the producers interrupt the show and go, pause and go to the Instagram and look at this. So this woman calls in and talks about her experience when she went to Hawaii to run a 100-miler. Apparently, she's been doing these 100-milers since she was 14. She was now 35 when she was doing this in Hawaii. I mean, honestly, I thought that was the terrifying thing. The fact that she's running 100 miles voluntarily, and then the one in Hawaii, you had to run it in 36 hours. 5 laps, a 20-mile loop, and they call it the Hurt 100 because they had ankle-breaking terrain. Also, when it would rain, it got really, really slippery. But she emphasizes she has never not finished a 100-miler. Her boyfriend couldn't go with her, so she brings her best friend along, which was a great thing because on the 4th lap, she was having some problems. So she asked her friend, hey, come run with me, keep me company. And by this time, the runners have really fallen off. So most of the time she's running alone. It's just her and her friend. And it was really early in the morning and the sunset was rising and it was really beautiful. So her friend, who is a photographer, started taking pictures of this beautiful sunrise. All of a sudden, she experienced a sharp pain in her foot, enough to make her stop. She thought maybe that she could just power through it, but she could not. And it wasn't only her foot. She said everything in her body was telling her to stop. And she said it wasn't really about the pain in her foot. She just said everything in her body was telling her, you can't finish. She started feeling nauseous, and eventually she pulls out of the race. Her and her friend go back to the Airbnb, and her friend is sending all these beautiful shots to her mom. Her mom then messages her and goes, who's that person running in front of your friend? And of course they're like, there was nobody. It was early in the morning. Most people had dropped out. So they decided to look through their pictures, and here's what they saw. So this is the shot that her mom was talking about. As you can see, she's right behind her friend who's running, and ahead of the trail is something that they did not see while they were running. And as you zoom in, you could see more detail. Now it kind of looks like a person. It doesn't look like a fellow runner. And even more terrifying is the live shot. See how this person just kind of comes up from the brush. When they posted it, a lot of people say it is the lore of the Night Marcher. I don't know too much about the lore of the Night Marcher in Hawaii. If you do, please comment and also tell me what you think. What did they encounter? And is this responsible for the heavy feeling that she was having about not continuing the run?
Now that picture is creepy, but my question is, if they're night marchers, why was it there in the day?
Yeah, that would make me run a marathon if I saw that thing in the woods.
It's a good picture though.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so explain this. I wake up this morning and my car is completely covered in mud, like it rained mud or something. And I was thinking, oh, well, maybe someone peeled out next to my car or something like that. And look, I'm at the vape shop, and her car's covered in it too. And she says she talked to all these people, and everyone in my area woke up this morning and their cars were just covered in this, whatever this is. It looks like mud, but whatever it rained last night is just mud rain or something. What are they putting in the clouds? What are they seeding the clouds with to make this? And it's on every vehicle around this whole area that I'm at. What in the world is this?
So I saw on the Ohio news that everyone's cars had that after the rain.
I've seen TikToks where it's actually magnetic too. People have tested it with magnets
Oh,
and
yeah.
it sticks to it. I've had stuff like that on my car.
Did you ever try to scrape it and see if the magnet was metal? There's metal in it?
But
No.
next time I'm going to try
Do
to
you
remember
really
to.
even want to know?
Yeah, probably not.
What are they spraying? What are they spraying?
What the heck is that, guys? Holy smokes. What the heck is that? It does have flames.
Did you know they're not called Dior bags anymore?
What are they called now?
They're hiding them under drones again. So now if you want to find them, you have to look under drones, not Dior bags. Because TikTok keeps shutting them down, which begs the question, why keep suppressing it if it isn't real? And we've got about 3 more of these, so are you ready?
Readier than ever, I guess. What do we see?
It's spiraling.
There's stars
and there's
and
another
like,
light around it.
yeah, it's sparkling all around it. Look at the sparkle. Okay, what is
There's
that?
multiple
What
things
is
flying
that?
around that.
And it's just coming in and out of the sky with
Is
like.
that a shooting star or a meteor or something?
Hey, can you help us get pushed up into the algorithm by hitting that like, that subscribe, and that little notification bell? Thanks a lot.
Want to see some new pictures of Mars showing structures, buildings, and a 3-foot device showing what seems like buttons, like some sort of like a mobile phone, but 3 foot? Take a look at this.
What?
Okay,
That's on Mars.
that's on Mars. That's a bone.
What?
Yeah, it certainly isn't a stone.
That does not look like a stone. And you got these from JPL?
Yeah,
Really?
come right off a negative of Mars in their mapping series. See these little buildings? One there, one there. Here's 3 in a row.
Buildings.
Yeah.
This is on Mars.
Here's a building over here.
Is it a picture from a rover or is it a picture from a telescope or?
It's a picture from a mapping. Here's a curlicue. It's a picture from a mapping satellite. That's a satellite making maps of Mars.
Wow.
That is a non-natural edge. You don't get a 30-mile edge like that.
Wow.
It's by nature. That's a sheer cliff.
How long is that?
30 miles.
30 miles.
Now I'll show you where it comes from. Here it is. What's up? That's that edge. That's just a deep chasm. That's a perfectly straight edge. It comes out of right here and goes straight as an arrow all the way across and then fades into the ground there.
What is
Here's
it?
a cavern, and it's got all this like wire stuff on the top.
So that's a subterranean cavern?
That's a subterranean cavern. You cannot see into it, but it's very deep.
And there's wiring?
That's wiring. Here's the interesting part. When we first caught this on Mars, there was a bright red light right here. That's gone out since we caught it. I actually have a photo of the light.
What?
Yeah,
What do you think?
bright red light.
What do you think the light was? Well, that almost implies that there's something there now.
Yeah. Let me show you something else.
So there are people at JPL who definitively
There
think.
you go.
Is that real?
That's real. That's 3 feet long and that big around. And it's got buttons on it and a rotating thing
that
here.
was taken on Mars.
That's laying on Mars, man.
And if you sent that to like a NASA photo instrumentation specialist, they wouldn't be able to
They'd
debunk it.
what they do is they say, bullshit, that's not off of Mars. Well, I have the negative.
You have the negative.
Yeah. So they can say whatever the hell they want.
And you can back it up with these JPL guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I will send you that.
Thank you.
Okay. And I'll send you something else very similar.
Joe, I appreciate it, man. This is amazing.
So that was Joe McConicle, if I've said his name right, on the American Alchemy thing. He's like one of the best remote viewers to have ever lived. And he was given jobs on remote viewing Mars, and basically we can all access these pictures, by the way, apparently. They're just not spoke about, but people have the right to go and access these if they know what they're asking for, because they're paid with tax dollars. So head on over to American Alchemy, watch it. I've just watched the entirety of it. It's a very interesting watch. These pictures, very interesting, especially this one that's in the screen here. 3 foot, looks like a huge Nokia 3310. I have no idea. Could that be just something that we've dropped? It's one of our devices or something that's come off a machine where we're surveying the planet and stuff like that. I don't know. If it's not, and that is a real genuine thing, it looks like there's been some advanced civilization that has been on Mars before. And I do tend to lean towards that conspiracy that, yeah, there is life on Mars, or has been life on Mars. And hopefully Elon will send the boys up there and we'll uncover some things. Maybe they'll get chased about and killed. I don't know.
What is going on Mars?
Why is this just coming out? And there had to have been life on Mars. Look at all the things they're finding. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
Proof that mermaids are actually real.
We got another one over here. What are those? east side of the boat? What are those trails called? What's something swimming fast underneath that water? Something swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's crazy.
I believe in mermaids. Do you believe in mermaids?
Mermaids, sirens. If I was him, I'd be plugging my ears.
They came from somewhere. I mean, they've been written about forever. The sailors know about them.
If you didn't know, there's certain videos circulating around on TikTok talking about elites eating mermaids, and I just want to make this very clear, okay? Mermaids do in fact exist. First of all, you have to understand that certain elites, let's just say, aren't like us underneath their, let's just say costume. But aside from that, if you have the balls and confidence and a team that just so happens to have some soundproof equipment, as dumb as that may sound, you can actually hunt them in some areas of the ocean. The only reason that you don't know about shit like this is because you don't explore areas of the internet outside of just Googling shit, okay? There's certain groups on Telegram, especially on the dark web, and I'm so serious right now, with fishermen that come from certain coastlines, and this can range anywhere from California all the way to Australia. They're literally all over the world. And they'll talk about not only catching them, but post their weight, their size, their length, their colored hair. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes into this. They even post pictures. They've even posted them on TikTok, but people don't believe that they're real most of the time. And announce out in the open, sometimes announcing that they're actually hunted down by the FBI, CIA, whatever it may be, that they deliver them to people that have a shit ton of fucking money. There's actually some hot spots in the United States. For example, if you go to the very end of Virginia Beach around 3 to 4 a.m., which I still hear stories on a monthly basis of people being taken out into the ocean by them, but regardless, you might see some sketchy ass looking people. Just know that there's a lot of aspects of this reality, including mermaids and cryptids even, that exist, but you just don't know about them. And many of you aren't aware of them simply because your mind isn't open to them actually existing. And you might call me crazy, that's completely fine. There's thousands of other people that know this information as well. I've even had personal experiences with cryptids. I even recorded them on camera a couple years ago. The lot that was across from my house, I actually caught what looked to be a Jinn, or in quotation, the Hat Man that was following me. I've caught the Fae on camera. I have these videos like long down in my TikTok. I'm pretty sure I have a playlist of them. But I mean, even in Colorado, I've had some skinwalker experiences. I've had a Wendigo experience that was the most terrifying fucking day of my entire life. If you go out to look for it, you will end up eventually fucking finding it. I'm just being completely honest with you right now. You can even ask the natives up in Colorado. They will tell you some crazy ass shit. But as for mermaids, I can tell you where to look and what time to do it.
So apparently mermaid talk is happening right now because there are stories circulating that the elites are eating mermaids, that they're some kind of delicacy, and they're having dinner parties where they all come together and eat mermaids. Now, if this is true, it's horrifying and horrific and all the H words. If it's not, it's a good conspiracy.
It's wild.
Okay, this might be too niche for some of you, but do you guys remember Ghost Adventures? Well, this is Aaron Goodwin, and his wife was just arrested for trying to hire someone to unalive him. This is real. He was apparently on location filming last October, and she had been texting with an inmate of a Florida prison and offered to pay him $11,000 to take him out. Apparently, prison officials got a hold of that guy's phone, and she was asking for like updates, like, is it done? And she literally said, am I a bad person for ending his life instead of just leaving him? Yes! Yes, you are. They'd only been married for 2 years. Aaron is said to be very blindsided, which, like, yeah, when would you ever think that your spouse would do something like that? This shit is freaking wild. It is wild that that is happening. It's like the plot of a freaking movie, of a show on freaking Netflix, but it involves a man who's on a show. Wild, wild times.
Poor Aaron. Zach's always sending him into the basement by himself and doing the worst stuff. I've followed Aaron and his wife, and they always just seemed really happy together. And now she's trying to make her own personal ghost. Like, what the hell?
Do you think she's possessed or something, or do you think she wants his money?
I just think it seems wild when you're with a celebrity and you think you can just go pay somebody, what, $11,000 to unalive your celebrity husband. Like, you think you're going to get away with that. Something has to be seriously wrong with your mind. She could have something taken over her to do something like that, because that is just heinous.
Yeah.
It would be a lot less scary.
Totally. You'd be like, all right, get out of here, George. Knock it off.
Yeah. I'm sick of this shit. Well, guys, it's been fun. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching our strange and unusual content. We will keep this going because strange and unusual is always happening.
Oh, yeah.
So until next time.